Hello. Huh. I happened to come across two film reviews recently. Um, One was by a film critic that I both like and respect, and the other one was from a film critic for whom I have absolutely no respect, but the reviews were more or less alike, and I thought I'd try to address both of them. Uh, but before we do, we must have a prelude about the Republic of Plato. Now, some of you may or may not know. I mean, um, it's a book that's somewhat famous, but it's a book that's also um, you know, people know it by reputation, but they don't necessarily really read it. But anyway, just briefly, uh, Plato sought to outline what his ideal for the Republic is, and one of the one of the talking points in the books became artists, and Plato had he took a rather Stalinistic an approach. Joseph Stalin, he famously said that he thought that writers were like engineers of the human soul. And Stalin, um, he liked art after a fashion. He just liked a really specific kind of art and would not tolerate any other kind of art. So, Stalin, he, uh, he, he wanted his engineers of the human soul to be his kind of competent, and um, and woe betide those who would be caught sleeping. But anyway, like in Plato's Republic, he's just saying how basically Plato thinks that if art is about bad things, then why should an ideal republic allow such badness to exist? Because surely bad art corrupts its audiences. So Plato in his Republic, he doesn't want to admit corruptors of the soul to his ideal republic. Only engineers of the soul are admitted. So basically, what it comes down to is that in Plato's Republic, the only art that is allowed is moral parables of blameless male heroes demonstrating virtues. So, the three acts of Aristotelian dramaturgy are employed to display how it is that one acts virtuously. So that it's like a synthesis of fiction and non-fiction. Those are like instructional, clips that Plato would show in his ideal republic. So anyway, what does all of this have to do with film reviews? Well, I'll be more than happy to say. So this film critic that I did like, he came out accusing the newest Terrence Malick movie of basically being bad and basically, well, oh my god. I can't believe someone accused Terrence Malick of being a corrupter of souls, but so it is. Yes. So this film critic that I liked, whom I won't name because it's beside the point. I don't want to call him out or anything, but yeah. Yeah, he did accuse Terrence Malick of being a corrupter of souls. um, well, just bear with me, all right? So anyway, like the newest Terrence Malick movie, Night of the Cops. You know, this film critic, he was talking about how, you know, that Night of the Cops was objectifying women, and you know that there was some sort of a white male privilege going on in the movie, and well, you know, he just thought that the movie was scandalously deficient when it comes to virtuous behavior. So, you know, that was one review, but then immediately after that, I saw another review of the kind of critic that to me seems like useless in the extreme, and he was talking about the John Ford movie, The Searchers, and the critic just said that The Searchers is a movie that what did he say? Something like The Searchers is a movie that doesn't play to the modern sensibility anymore. So basically he said that The Searchers has no place in the modern world because it's become too dated for the youth who don't wish to be corrupted by it to appreciate it. So anyway, some of you may not be able to properly appreciate the link between Searchers and The Night of the Cops because, you know, superficially, they seem like extremely different kinds of movies. You might almost go so far as to say that they seem like movies that are the absolute opposite of each other, but they are alike in being banished from Plato's Republic because those aren't movies of blameless male heroes demonstrating deeds of valor. So, you know, out with this Malick and out with that Ford because they are corrupting the souls of our citizens. I mean, the sunlight is corrupting my color scheme. So anyway, so yeah, now, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of John Ford, and you know, I also have certain reservations about late period Terrence Malick, but I wouldn't banish them from my Republic. So, you know, as I was in my mind's eye, I was standing at the gates of the Republic, and I was seeing both Terrence Malick and John Ford making their way out of the Republic. I felt a great sadness. So anyway, how could we possibly argue against the corrupting influence of these, the Searchers, and Terrence Malick's Night of the Cups? I mean, goodness gracious, are we the kind of film critic who would stand out for the corruptors of the soul? I don't know what to say. I mean, it sounds like such a scandalous situation. Should I think that John Ford and Terrence Malick have every right to corrupt souls with their blameful male heroes? Well, you know, you could say that lots of filmmakers and lots of artists would be banished from Plato's Republic. I mean, you might almost say that only the most inconsequential of artists would remain there. But that's no excuse. Just because other people are corrupting souls doesn't mean that it's okay for Terrence Malick and John Ford to corrupt souls. But anyway, I thought that it's an interesting thing to contemplate. That, do you know what's basically the only genre of storytelling that embraces Plato's paradigm? It's the medieval romance. You know, if the goal is to have blameless male heroes executing deeds of valor, the chivalric romance. Isn't it bewildering that it's as if Plato, the philosopher, is a bigger romantic than, say, Terrence Malick? And also these film critics, they are bigger romantics than that. Than these artists. I mean, these artists seem to be like nasty-tempered ruffians, unsettling romantic film critics who just would like a good romance of sweet Sir Galahad just roaming the wild, wild west and rescuing virtuous maidens in peril, and then perhaps planting a chaste kiss on their cheeks and then riding on the sunset at the end. Because that's what blameless male heroes should do when they're doing virtuous deeds. But anyway, like, it's I don't see anyone really talking about this secret passion for chivalric romances inherent in both Platonic philosophy and in lots of contemporary aesthetic theories, such as what these film critics are having. Like, I mean, just correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't The Searchers basically like a film critic looks at The Searchers and contrasts it to a chivalric romance, and then, you know, to his horror, sees that, wait, John Wayne isn't Sweet Sir Galahad. John Wayne is almost nothing like Sweet Sir Galahad in this movie. What a badly written moral parable. This movie cannot play to the contemporary mentality. Like, this is full of blamefulness. And we were searching for blamelessness. So it's just that I didn't personally understand that. I didn't get the memo about just how popular chivalric romances were. I thought I was the only one. Like, I would consider myself almost, well, I don't know, a fan is too strong a word, but I definitely am greatly appreciating the kind of, what do you call it, Chrétien de Troyes, or something like that. His romances. I was almost able to finish reading Amadis de Gaul because it was almost quite good. But anyway, yeah, it's just I don't know. I couldn't help arriving at the idea that there's this secret society in criticism that are sort of thirsting for chivalric romances. And, it's just are really unforgiving for, like, towards people like Terrence Malick. I mean, I can understand, like, the newest Terrence Malick movie, it was called Night of the Cops. It wasn't called Janitor of the Cops or Investment Banker of the Cops. It was called Night of the Cops. So it does sound like a chivalric romance, but yes, the film critic was right. I mean, Christian Bale in that movie, he's nothing like Sweet Sir Galahad. Like, if you go in and expect blamelessness from him, you won't get it. It's full of blamefulness. It's really frustrating because, like, didn't anyone in the film crew notice some of those blamefulnesses? Like, how difficult would it be? Like, think of the Terminator 2 movie. Like, the Arnold Schwarzenegger character in the Terminator 2, like, he maybe has slight roughness about him, but he could, like, with just a little training, he could be the blameless male hero, merely, content to execute the deeds of valor programmed for him. So, like, maybe the Searchers and Night of the Cops both should be remade with the Terminator starring in them as a chivalric romance with obviously, like, slightly different decor. And, like, if it's starring the Terminator, I mean, it's like making it like a, half of a sci-fi movie, obviously. I mean, I suppose it would look a bit strange if the Terminator was roaming Monument Valley and, trying to rescue Natalie Wood and not making any blameful missteps the way that Ethan Edwards is making. So, I do understand the bad feeling that young people watching The Searchers do, because, like, I mean, obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't really around to star in this, but it doesn't really excuse the fact that this movie hasn't been remade, with the Terminator basically being blameful, where John Wayne could only be no, the Terminator needs to be blameless, where John Wayne only managed to be blameful. So, what I'm suggesting is that so that artists wouldn't be banished from Plato's Republic ever again, that basically every classic movie should be remade with the lead actor being replaced by a CGI Terminator. So that, a CGI Terminator doesn't really need to be blameful. Like, if they're just programmed to be blameless, wouldn't it basically fix every movie? I don't know. I mean, it's just that, perhaps, like, as the film critic said, that the Searchers doesn't really play for the modern mentality anymore. Like, I understand. Like, the Terminator is from the future. So we're like, if we cast somebody from the future, it would like, it would be like an insurance policy against becoming dated, because like, I would imagine that it's gonna take a long time till we get into the future. So it's like we're gonna have like a hero of a romance that's gonna play to the modern mentality for a really long time. I mean, it's I don't know what audiences would think of like Night of the Cops starring the Terminator. In Terrence Malick's newest movie, the Terminator is the son of a distant king who was sent to Earth to find a rare pearl that that his father sent him on a mission to find. But whereas the previous son of the king, played by Christian Bale, he got lost on his journey and was stuck in the realm of the senses. He couldn't find his pearl. But the Terminator, he just when an ensemble of ingenues came to tempt the Terminator, the CGI Arnold Schwarzenegger said, "Talk to the hand, 'cause the face ain't listening." The CGI Terminator, who was the newest son of the king, he was able to find the pearl because he wasn't distracted by no willing dames. So, in this remake of The Night of the Cops, the blameless male hero found the pearl and then went home as like, "Here you go, daddy. Here is the pearl." So it's like, I really think that with just slight re-editings, I think I could actually save basically all artists from being banished from Plato's Republic. Like, you give me any movie that has blameful male heroes or even female heroines. Like, it doesn't matter. We can just cast, like, we can just replace them with Terminators, and yeah. Then we'll never again have to worry that there are these lapses of being able to reach the condition of a chivalric romance. like it's strange thinking that the Terminators are the closest the modern world has to a Platonic hero of a romance. But there you go. I mean, the situation isn't as bleak as you might think. Like, some of you fan boys and fangirls of the artistic creation, you need not cry that, oh, all of our favorite artists are being banished from the Republic. No, 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 no. Like, let Mishka help, alright? I can save basically every movie ever made from getting into disfavor with the golden souls, the philosopher kings running the Republic, or in this case, some film critics on their blogs. Like, we can solve this problem of the blameful heroes. They may become blameless. Like in this, The Searchers, John Wayne plays an ex-Confederate soldier. He comes home after the Civil War, and John Wayne is sort of secretly in love with his brother's wife, and there's this somewhat blameful drama about it, that there's like this slightly uncomfortable, fussy silences in that family. The Terminator wouldn't have that problem. And then, when there's that scene where Ethan Edwards, he goes to this this kinds of search posse when they hear that there's was it Comanche in the region, and while they're away, the Comanche or whoever it was came to the house, and I guess they raped and murdered everyone in the house, and then when Ethan comes back with his young associate, the youth is very distressed about it, and Ethan is distressed in a different way, and basically, what happened to the only woman that he had ever loved. I suppose the modern film critics think that because Ethan cannot have the right kind of calmness and serenity about the episode, and because he's super bitter towards the Comanche and all Native Americans after that episode, the modern critics are distressed that because John Wayne basically fails to do what the Terminator would do in this situation, it's because John Ford made a movie about a racist. Clearly, I mean, only a racist would be really rattled after an episode like that. Any normal person would find it easy to more or less be in the same ballpark as the Terminator. And in this new movie, when the Terminator comes to the massacre site and he's with a human, the the human is slightly confused, and the Terminator like, do you want me to draw a picture? I can draw a picture. And then the human presumably doesn't need a picture of what's happened because it's like somewhat gruesome. And then the Terminator's like, it appears we have a mission. We will now go and find the lone survivor of the massacre. And then, you know, without any negative emotions, without any unnecessary hassle, the Terminator just like scans the Western landscape and just searches for Natalie Wood, and doesn't make any rude comments towards any of the people that the Terminator sees. So yes, yes, um, the movie would like with one casting change, the movie would be saved. Like it would reclaim its position as one of the you know, great achievements of American cinema. If only it had a lead character who wouldn't have an emotional life. So so it would be like demonstration of how to calmly search for missing family members in the prairie. Like if that movie was only like that, it could play to the modern sensibility. And it wouldn't have any of those blameful features that this human version of the story has. Like, like if I'd have to grade this on the chivalric romance scale, I would give this 2 stars out of the 5. 2 hearts. Like 2 hearts out of 5. Because, like, this has a lot of blamefulness, but technically it is like a chivalric romance in that even though Ethan Edwards, he basically starts hating on everything in existence, the only thing that he doesn't hate is Natalie Wood, who is basically the only link he has to the love of his life, who was rather cruelly killed. So, like at its heart, it's almost like a chivalric romance, but it does have some unfortunate blamefulness about it. So I only give it 2 hearts out of 5. Now, the Terrence Malick film Night of the Cops, I would only give it 1 heart out of 5 hearts, because well, even though on the main level, perhaps there's something a bit chivalric about it, I'd say it's a movie that the character is getting so lost that any quest that the Christian Bale character is essentially on is almost like an afterthought. I would say that the searchers, like, Night of the Cops is a movie about being lost, and The Searchers is a movie about ultimately finding almost impossible things. I mean, I feel rather bad for only giving it 2 hearts out of 5 hearts on the chivalric romance scale, but I mean, I just on the Platonic Republic, I want to be like one of the philosopher kings with a golden soul. I mean, I feel like if I'd give this 3 hearts out of 5 hearts, I feel like that would maybe be something like a red flag in that maybe I only have a silver soul. Or maybe my soul is made out of bronze. Because like 3, there's something bronze-like about 3. So we better not risk it. But anyway, those are just some of my ideas about well, I felt like talking shop about engineers of the soul. So anyway, if you had an interest in some of this, I thank you for watching, and please, you there, try to stay golden. And if you aren't golden, if you like have a silver soul, try to watch this kind of demonstrations of what golden souled people do. And then maybe you can sort of move up the grades and you can ascend to the celestial sphere where philosopher kings are lodging. And you know, it is said that when the spheres move close to each other, it makes the most beautiful music in the world. So, like, presumably, there are good times associated with ascension. It is said that it's worth the while. So anyway, like, if you are a golden soul or are very into golden souls, I mean, I love intellectuals. I give them 5 hearts out of 5. That's all I wanted to say. Like, it's a storia di una grande amore. I cannot get enough. It's always a wild pleasure. That's what I wanted to say. I mean, Jesus Christ, some people, honestly.